Good morning. Let's do a quick rehab roundup for this week. Today, let's start with our lovely mare Lily. Lily is extremely pregnant. We're seeing some signs that maybe she's further along than we like. Her milk vein is coming in strong. Her udder is starting to fill up again. But it's also hard to tell since she came in with a full udder to know exactly where it is. And she's had, this is what we know of, her third baby in 3 years. So her udder's not going to be totally small. And that belly is going to spring pretty quick. But we're watching that. She is scheduled for surgery for her cancer on her eyelid on March 19th. We are still fundraising for that. Link is in the description. But all in all, she's just a happy, content girl. We're working on her handling. She's getting easier to touch. We still have to use some tips and tricks to get her caught. She did see the farrier this past weekend. She picked her feet up, but was not ready to stand quiet. She definitely knows what we're asking of her and is just used to not having to do it. So we gave her 30 more days for that, and we're going to work with her in these 30 days on just reminding her what it means to pick her feet up. But all in all, she's doing well, and we'll keep you updated. Next up this week is Coco. Coco's been with us, 3 weeks now, and is gaining weight like crazy, as you can probably see. With his teeth floated and being a young and healthy horse, our goal will be to get him in pasture probably in another 2 weeks. I'd like to gain just a little bit more weight before he can go out to pasture, where we will monitor his weight if he drops it, going back on a majority grass hay instead of an alfalfa mix. But being young and healthy, there's really no reason he shouldn't maintain his weight out in pasture in our dry lot on grass round bales. So we're looking forward to seeing how that goes. He's still scheduled to be in the Dakota Showdown Horse Trainer Challenge, so as of right now is not necessarily available for adoption, because we want to make sure we have enough horses for our trainers. So we'll keep you updated on him, but I am really happy with his progress and expect him to be off rehab probably, if not next week, in 2 weeks. Jazz's update this week is she just remains healing for her eye ulcer. We did struggle some with her medication during the cold snap. When it was well below zero, her catheter would freeze up, but we are back on track, giving her medicine regularly and giving her time to heal. She has graduated to some outside time in a small pen, just because the weather is so beautiful and nothing like sunshine to make you heal. And that eye thing, the eye protector she has, does keep a lot of the light out of her eyes. So even though we are dilating, I believe we're still dilating her eye. I'd have to check her medicines. But even with the eye being painful, we're keeping the light out of it so it doesn't bother her as much. This is going to be a long-term rehab, and at 26 years old, we're not super stressed about the speed at which she recovers. We just hope she does recover. Paige found herself in a stall this week after Delegate found a home. She's just probably the skinniest still of our outside seniors, so getting her a stall is just to make sure she gets a little higher quality feed and has plenty of time to eat it. She's a lovely girl. She's available for adoption. She's very well trained, and the only thing we're concerned about is we can't really tell her exact age based on her teeth. She could be teens, she could be 20s. We're not 100% sure. Her teeth are very worn down, so the things that you use to estimate age are missing, so are difficult to see. So we have some concern about that, but we think she's in her mid-teens. We don't think she's as old as she may have come across when she was initially way underweight, but there's a chance that she's a little older. So her adoption fee is set accordingly, but she's very sweet, very well trained, good for about anybody. And as y'all know, things can happen to horses at any time. So definitely worth looking at and not looking over, but we believe in full honesty, so that is one of our concerns with her. If she doesn't find a home, it's not a big deal. She'll work in our kids program. She'll be an amazing addition to that program, but we're hopeful she finds her own family. I think she'd love to have a couple kids to spoil. Benny continues to do well with his cloud boots on his painful front feet. We've cut him back. We've halved his pain med now that the weather's better, to see how between the boots and the weather how he does. Seems to be doing pretty well. We were able to trim him without any issues. We didn't have to fight him for his front teeth for the first time in a long time, or feet for the first time in a long time. So they really do seem to be helping. We're hopeful we can maybe get shoes on, but for now, the boots are doing just fine. Technically, we have transitioned him as a permanent resident because even we don't foresee him ever leaving us based on his physical issues. But again, he's another really good boy. If we can get him sound enough to do lead line with our kids, or even just enjoy being groomed, because as you can see, he's a great horse. He enjoys the mud. Even if he can just stand sound for grooming, he definitely would have a purpose with our educational programs. So that's Benny. I will probably remove him from Rehab Roundup going forward, considering that he is now considered a permanent resident. But comment below if you'd like to continue to get updates on him. I don't have a problem grabbing a little bit of video about him every week or so. Winnie remains on rehab technically. She had surgery on that front leg that kind of turns out. She's doing very well. She has developed an almost normal hoof. Hi, girl. She runs, she plays, she's very happy. She still does turn out a bit. Sorry to move backwards so she's not so close. She still does turn out a little bit. Our vets aren't super concerned about it, as they feel as she grows and as her chest broadens, that should bring it in. We're hopeful, pretty confident she should have a good, happy life, and should have the potential for at least light riding in the future. She still remains on rehab solely because of her age and because we are watching for that front legs turnout. Yeah, I guess there's not a lot to say about her. She's just living her best life, growing and seeing what happens. Rehab Roundup with the Mustangs includes training. They have moved to a larger outdoor pen, and that is attached to our round pen. And we've been working on breakfast, so they get a little bit of grain in there. So they'll go in there, and now that they're in there, if it were a training day, I have my day job, so it isn't, I would close this and decide who I wanted to work with. Dewey in the front there is the closest to a halter. The two behind him are the next friendliest, while Thunder in the back is the least friendly, the smartest, and the boss. Onyx is pretty friendly too, or Ozone. We keep messing with his name. Which do you prefer, Ozone or Onyx? Let us know in the comments. That was kind of rude. Dollar. So Dollar's not one of the BLM Mustangs. He's one of the older ones. Here comes Dewey, who thinks he wants to eat out of the bucket. Yesterday he ate out of the bucket. I'm holding a halter today, so that's new. But he would prefer to eat with me than with the rest of them. So that is kind of the update on the Mustangs. We have approximately 2 months to get them halterable so they can go to their trainers for the Dakota Showdown Horse Trainer Challenge.